partner Triple IIT Allahabad and SparkX on AI for All, Building India's Future-Ready Human Capital from School to Workforce. I request Mr. Prakash, Scientist E from CDAC, to escort our distinguished guest on the stage. Today we have Professor Anil Sahasrabuddhe. He will be available online. Professor Mukul Sutavne, Director, IIT, Triple IIT. Mr. Vivek, Professor Om Prakash, Ms. Neha, and the entire panel will be moderated by Dr. Mandar. I request for one group photo. Now I hand over the stage to Dr. Mandar.
Hello. Okay. Good evening to distinguished panelists and esteemed participants. I, Dr. Mandar, Karyakarte, Registrar of Triple IIT Allahabad, welcome you all to the panel discussion on AI for All, Building India's Future-Ready Human Capital from Schools to Workforce. Okay, it is my privilege today to moderate this session. Now, in this session, we particularly bring in policy architects, institutional leaders, curriculum designers, industry representatives to deliberate an action on AI education at a scale which will cater to the requirements of 2030 and 2040. Okay, can we have slides? Okay. So, there are key challenges, and these key challenges, let's understand through some certain statistics and numbers what we have. So there are 650 million Indians under age of 25 and about 170 million in the age of 18 to 25 who would be our workforce by 2030. Okay, that's first. Second, there are 260 million, that is 26 crore students in K-12 education. So they would be an ideal workforce by 2035 or 2040 for the nation. As per World Economic Forum, 27% of global workforce by 2030 would be supplied by India. Now the question is, with this AI coming in so speedily, will, as a nation, we are ready for it? That's the question we need to answer. Further, there's an AI disruption that we are seeing for last 2-3 years. The McKinsey report states that by 2030, 30% of work hours would be automated. So that's the challenge. Also, the World Economic Forum says that 85 million jobs that are today present will be vanished, but at the same time, there will be 97 million jobs that would be newly created with newly defined job roles. NASSCOM report says that by 2030, 1 million AI professionals are required for Indian industry, and current output is around 50,000 engineers annually. So we are producing just 5% of what is estimated requirement of 2030. So that's again a key challenge. Now, obviously there are certain gaps been observed, and these are the preparation gaps. That is, under 5% of schools only teach AI education, and school education is a feeder pipeline to higher education and industry and innovation. Then the employability is a challenge. whether it is engineering education, 23% of the rate of employability is observed as per NASSCOM reports. And as far as teacher capability, human capability is concerned in K-12 education, only 2% of teachers are generally aware and trained about AI education. So that's the challenge that we'll have. If you look at the socio-economic equity status, then only 66% of urban India has internet access, as well as 31% in the rural part. So even the internet penetration is still at a lower side. If you look at ASHE report, which is basically a higher education report, the gender based is that women are 33% of women are in STEM education, and 22% in AI education. So even that number is too low, the scale at which the 2030 or 2035 expects us. If you look from socio-economic balances, then the families which are in top 20% income, these families or children in those families have better access to the resources compared to rest of the children. So that's the challenge. But though there are a lot of challenges, we have different opportunities. First is National Education Policy 2020, which says that we can introduce coding or AI education into the schools or K-12 education. So that's the opportunity. We have Atal Tinkering Labs already established in more than 10,000 schools, which can be an enhancement to AI education, which can be modified to this. And most important is that if you look at publications that come in from various different higher education, then India ranks third globally as per Stanford report. So these are good opportunities as a nation for us. So what we look at, so we can say that we can cater to or target 10% of 26 crore or 260 million students studying in K-12 education. So which is around 26 million or 2.6 crore students. And if these 2.6 crore or 26 million students, if we had conservative workforce conversion of 10%, we can be at 2.6 million AI literate professionals. So that is only 2x of the 1 million requirement. So by 2030. So what are the stakes that we all need to deal is there are around 1.5 million schools, and that is a scale at which we need to penetrate AI education. So that's the challenge. Second is we want to bridge socio-economic gaps like urban, rural, gender, as well as the income levels. Third is AI should augment education and not as a replacement of the teacher or human capital. And fourth basic challenge is aligning K-12 education, higher education, and industry and innovation together. Okay, so with this tone setting, let me welcome and introduce our panelists. And to address these questions, I'll introduce the panelists first. We have Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, who is the chairman of NETF, National Education Technology Forum. But due to some 11th hour emergency, he is not present here, but he has sent a pre-recorded message about his opinion on the topic of discussion. So he will address basically policy architecture needed to mainstream AI education. We have Professor Mukul S. Sutavne, Director of IIIT Allahabad. He brings the perspective of premier technical educations as development hubs and demonstration labs for K-12 AI education. We have Professor Om Prakash Vyas, Director at IIIT Naya Raipur. Professor Vyas will share insights on regional equity and how emerging institutions, especially in developing states, can anchor AI education in the regional areas. Then we have Ms. Neha Sharma, who is Partner People Advisory Services at EVA India. So she brings industry lens, that is how workforce requirements, employability expectations, and public-private collaboration models can be established for better penetration of AI education. And we have Mr. Vivek Varshni, founder of Speed Labs India and architect of SparkX competition or event that we had held earlier. Okay, so before we engage in the panel discussion, I request Mr. Vivek Varshni to introduce the SparkX initiative. The floor is open for you.
was a very nice experience to give this exam.
This exam gave me a valuable experience. This event is very extremely helpful to the student, and today I got to know what was right and weakness.
And get from the user that is
Challenge in doing all physical AI senior guidance. Thank you so much.
Please.
Good evening, everyone. SparkX was the event which we conceptualized to bring the ideas at a school level in tier 2, tier 3 towns, specifically where there is a lot of demand, lot of urge to learn new things. And we designed this entire competition in two parts. One was an Olympiad, which was a written competition about the learning and the knowledge about AI. And the second was giving the opportunity to students to come up with solutions using AI and solving some of the innovative problem statements that they could have thought in their local ecosystem. And we were surprised that the students coming from small towns coming to final event at IIT Bombay, they come up with ideas ranging industries between education, healthcare, defense, logistics, everywhere. The young students between grade 8, 9th, 10th were coming up with ideas which could have been executed at a professional level. So, this was our endeavor to take this event across India. And with the successful execution last year, we are looking forward to reach 1 million+ students in the coming edition in 2026. And I think we are very thankful to IIT Allahabad for helping us in this entire conceptualization, and looking forward to have a much bigger scale next year.
Thank you, Vivek, for your introductory remarks. I will now open the panel discussion, and we have first question to Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe, who is not here, but he has sent a pre-recorded message. May I request to play the pre-recorded message? Question 10 is what?
Namaskar. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Sutavane, I am very delighted that I am here in an online mode to talk about various issues related with AI. And the question which was asked to me as a panelist about when should AI education start, from the class 3 or much later. This is a question which is debated all over the world, but in my candid opinion, earlier the better. So children at the age of about 8, 9, when they are in the class 3, this is the right occasion to create awareness, to make them ease with the use of AI tools, understand the minor nuances, and therefore it is apt and appropriate to start AI education in the class 3 onwards itself. Of course, the next part of the question is, should AI be different at different appropriate age levels? Yes, certainly yes. What children at 9, 10 years can understand is different from what they understand at the age of 16. And therefore, what we teach after class 3 and what we teach at 8th standard and 10th standard must be age appropriate based on their development in terms of all other courses and subjects that they are undertaking. The next part of the question which you also asked was, is AI education to be specifically as AI education, or it should be across the board in all subjects? I'm sure in the beginning, naturally, AI as a different subject may be necessary because all the textbooks, all the teachers are not geared up for that, and therefore there are specialists, maybe AI teachers, who will start teaching from the class 3 onwards till class 10 as a separate subject. But as we go along, maybe in a couple of years' time, we must integrate it with all other subjects, be it mathematics, be it social studies, be it geography, be it physics, chemistry, biology. In fact, AI has, as an agnostic or non-agnostic, it has to be part of every course, every subject. And therefore, how in different courses, different subjects, AI is to be integrated, has to be taken care of by our experts who are writing textbooks, who are conducting the teacher training programs, create that awareness, and then we need not have a separate subject of AI, but AI will become part of everyday life. In fact, it will become an important life skill. Like we all of us learn language, we learn mathematics, we learn science, so AI will become an integrated part of all of these courses. And that is the manner in which we need to move as we go forward. As far as the frameworks are concerned, naturally there are different levels of guardrails that are required because there have been reported items of unethical use of AI. Therefore, ethical use of AI is one of those very important subject matters world over debated, and therefore we must have our own framework where we detail out where to use, when to use, how much to use. I think that is the framework which, whether it is the Education Ministry, whether it is the Ministry of IT, the National Education Technology Forum, we should come all together and decide on these frameworks. There are countries who are banning the use of mobile phones or use of AI tools. There are others who are prominently using it left side, right center. And therefore, there is somewhere in between what we call middle path where not permitting is not right, but use the tools of AI for effective methodology of learning. So therefore, several pedagogical aspects in terms of how learning takes place. Different students learn in different ways, different styles. How AI can enable them, thereby true access, equity, and quality are delivered at an affordable cost to all of us. And that is the spirit in which the AI has to be utilized. And that's why frameworks which are robust, frameworks which create access and equity need to be created, and also the availability of these technologies, tools to all the citizens of the country, including in the remotest areas, is the part which the government has to play a very important role. As far as the other aspects of use of AI and misuse of AI are concerned, some legal boundaries have to be set up. All people have to be made aware of non-misuse of AI, and if someone uses it in a wrong manner, how penal actions are there is also to be told to all the citizens so that misuse is avoided. I'm sure in terms of research is concerned, there have been many reported things where articles get withdrawn, and therefore ethical use of AI in even research is important. Teacher training is important. Parents training is also equally important. How much to allow students to use AI and other technologies at home, and how prepare students for what we call Viksit Bharat is also equally important. I'm sure all of you will go by this methodology which is adopted by the government in terms of ethical use of AI. Thank you very much.
Okay. So with this note, I thank Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe for his elaborate answer on the first question. Now, the education ecosystem is spread as higher education and K-12 education, that is school education. Today we have among our panelists, Director of IIIT Allahabad, who will basically comment on role of premier institutions. My question to you, sir, what specific role should institutes of national importance like IITs, NITs and IIITs will play in this K-12 AI education ecosystem? Floor is open to you.
Yes. At the outset, please accept my warm greetings of the evening. In my capacity as a co-host of this particular panel discussion, along with our partners, Vivek is here. I also must thank the panelists who accepted our invitation to be part of this panel discussion. Professor Sahasrabudhe, despite some family emergency difficulties, he was generous enough to give us the message on video and giving the responses. Neha ma'am, who accepted the invitation, is from E&Y. My colleague, ex-colleague, Professor Om Prakash Vyas, who happens to be now Director of IIIT Naya Raipur, the whole team of SparkX initiative, SpeedX and SameLearn AI, and Dr. Mandar. This all revered co-panelists and esteemed audience. Again, welcome to all of you. Mandar, I must appreciate you for the comprehensive statistics which you presented in the tone-setting presentation slides. The role of INIs, we are Institute of National Importance, IIIT. IIIT Allahabad is one of the first centrally funded IIITs established by Ministry of Education, Government of India. We are 100% centrally funded like an IIT, but we are IIT in the domain of IT. We are Indian Institute of Information Technology, and we offer those hot cake branches: information technology, computer science, electronics and communication. And believe me that we receive the genius of this India, the country, Bharat. JEE means toppers come to me. JEE means toppers come to me. If a student gets admission in IIT Kanpur, the neighboring IIT, for mechanical engineering, JEE advanced scorer, he leaves that and he joins my IT program. 100% placements, more than 100, 200 placements, because peak packages are touching crores of rupees every year. Average package is 40 lakhs, all 100% employable. So no issues, no worries at all. But as an INI, which is a dream destination of the genius of this country, do I have some social responsibility? Yes, we coined a term, Institute Social Responsibility, like CSR. We appeal, Vivek, we appeal Neha ma'am that there is a corporate social responsibility to support society. So ISR, there is something like ISR. We should also support society. When we happen to be dream destination of students from the society, from the country, pan-India, then do we really owe something to this society? Answer is yes. IIIT Allahabad's doors were never closed for school-going children. We have, Allahabad happens to be, Prayagraj happens to be the religious capital of the North India, near Varanasi. It's also educational capital of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, we have many schools, many good schools. Whenever any principal of any school approaches us for visit of their kids to IIIT Allahabad campus, we welcome them with open arms. We have first year physics teachers and first year chemistry teachers. They are part of Indian Association of Physics Teachers, Indian Association of Chemistry Teachers. And we celebrate a day, Physics Day on campus, wherein we intentionally invite 500 students, school-going kids on campus from 8 to 12 standard class. Similarly for chemistry, just to create awareness, interest about these school-going kids and really chase their dream for the destination of IIIT Allahabad. Create interest about science in them. We know that our constitution says that the next generation should be very curious, anxious, and it should be carrying a scientific temperament, attitude of asking scientific questions and inquiry. NEP also says that, but deep rooted in Indian ethos, we try to really follow that kind of philosophy. And when we say that, then when the school going children, kids are allowed to visit IIIT campus anytime throughout the year, and we have some planned activities and calendar for them. We also have something like this, that we want to engage with the school going kids. All teachers, couple of them are sitting in the audience also, they have very elegantly adopted AI in the curriculum, in their behavior, ethically, as Professor Sahasrabudhe was rightly saying. And then we teach AI. We breathe AI day in, day out. All my teachers. Let me mathematics teacher. Maths teacher knows how to apply AI in maths. Okay, we don't prohibit use of AI. We certainly prohibit unethical use of AI on campus. We are one of the rare institutions in the country to adopt AI use policy in the institute. One of the rare institutes in the country. We do that. And then when we say that we have a social responsibility of really elevating the stature and the standard of these kids, school-going kids, so that they can reach the destination like IIIT or IIT or NIT, then what we can do? So we can create AI content for schools. Unique example, we collaborated with Vivek and Praveen is here. And what we could do, Dr. Surya Prakash is here, my young faculty colleague is here, Professor Sonali is here. With them, they created the content for Olympiad, which we did for the country. And then the culmination was in Tech Fest of IIT Bombay. So we three together came and we could really generate or create enthuse awareness in school-going kids about AI education that we could all do, right? And we were happy that we are really percolating, disseminating the education, the worm of AI education in school-going kids. And we are really discharging our duties with the responsibility that we are doing. I think that is the role of INI, like IIIT Allahabad, Mandar, that we should be doing this consistently, persistently, so as to create awareness about education of good use of AI in school-going kids. And fortunately, we have partners like Vivek with us. Okay, we could do that. And the visual impact is seen, Vivek, Olympiad, aapne video dikha abhi. And then we are happy that we are doing this. Okay, there are multiple ways in which can contribute, but only thing is that because we don't know much about the cognitive levels of school-going kids, how easily they'll assimilate, grasp the knowledge of AI in them. We need some kind of mentoring from NCERT, CBSE, for that sake. Professor Behra could not make it today. He was to be our co-panelist. He could not make it today. But NCERT, CBSE should really frame a curriculum for school-going kids. We are here to design the content, to deliver the content to the best of our capacity, and that is also part of our ISR. Okay, Institute Social Responsibility. I think we should be happy about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your commitment. And now, as a nation, we are spread into multiple regional diversity. We have few states, few cities, few metros which are highly developed, but we also have states where still education is a challenge. So we have Professor Om Prakash Vyas, Director of IIIT Naya Raipur, and my next question goes to him. How can newer IIITs, state government colleges in tier 2 and tier 3 cities serve as regional anchors for penetration of AI education to these schools and scaling in schools? Sir, please, the floor is open to you.
First, greetings of the day to all the people sitting here. It's really very interesting to take this issue of tier 2, tier 3 cities in the India. We have to realize that as per AICTE, more than 1,000 engineering institutions are in the tier 2 and tier 3 ecosystem. More than these people, the important in this case is that we have to understand how digital India arrived and how we want to progress to AI India. Digital India was more towards the connectivity, towards the making the people a part of the whole ecosystem. But AI India is a different ball game altogether. AI, we all know, is as good as the data on which it is trained, the diversity on which it is particularly applied. And then if you are willing to really make an AI relevant, you have to understand that here now the inclusivity is not a charity, it's not an option, it's a basically model design. It's a robustness decision that the tier 2, tier 3 ecosystem should be included. And how to include it? We can definitely have the state engineering colleges and IIITs like us who are close to the rural areas. They can connect with them in terms of creating a cluster approach where we primarily help them in the curriculum design, in faculty capacity building, and try to create the local relevance to the AI models. And as we all know, the algorithmic bias in AI, ethics in AI is going to play a very, very important role in future. So we have to keep creating a child-safe environment in terms of AI development, usage, and continuous upgradation of data. We also know the vernacular languages and the particularly the difference in the cultural aspects of India. We have to very clearly understand that AI model, which is trained encompassing all the possibilities, will definitely be much more relevant, much more usable, and definitely much more successful. So a very strategical approach has to be adopted to include a tier 2 and tier 3 institution in a very structured approach to have AI inclusivity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Any education is not complete if we exclude industry. So we have two industry partners here, and there's an industry perspective because we talk about workforce readiness, and industry also has expectations from the upcoming or incoming workforce. So my next question goes to Ms. Neha Sharma. She represents industry here. My question is, what specific AI-related competencies beyond coding are you finding critical for employability of young aspirants or young workforce?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. It's really good to share the stage with such an eminent group of panel members. So thanks once again for having me here. I think, as from an industry standpoint, when I look at employability at an entry level, there's a massive shift that's happening, and some bit of this reality is probably we are all aware about it. So there are three broad shifts that I see in the industry at this point in time from an entry level employability standpoint. One, of course, is that India, is at a very, very prime stage where, we are expecting about 2.3 million new AI jobs to be created by 2027. And I think that itself is a phenomenal opportunity if you're a student in this country. Having said that, it's also a fact that, when we look at the last 12 odd months, there has been a very sharp decline in terms of the entry level or traditional entry level openings as compared to corporates in India. And this trend is probably going to increase, over the next few months, given the fact that AI is going to take over some of the routine tasks, routine jobs that entry level, graduates or postgraduates really started their careers with. Interestingly, in addition to that, we also see that if you look at the, the latest Skill India report of 2026, it also pegs, graduate, employability level at about 56% for this year. It was 54% last year and now 56%. So of course it's improving, but at the same point in time, if, India produces roughly about, 10 million graduates, in a year, we are saying 44% of them are probably not employable, and those are stark numbers to really sort of look at. But I still go back to the first point that I made, which was it's a very interesting time for us, and it's a great opportunity if you're a student in India, because there are some 2.3 million net new AI jobs that are going to be there. The country needs it, a lot of industry needs it, and there is great optimism around it. And these are not just STEM and tech jobs that I'm talking about. So if you're a non-coder, it's an equal opportunity, or probably it's a better opportunity for you to today be a student and be applying for some of these roles. So if you have to ask me, clearly there are two most important critical skills that I'll tell every student to really, really pursue at this point in time. Number one is, and I think I heard some of my panel members also speak about it, we are not competing with AI, and students should definitely not compete with AI. We are in a world where we have to embrace AI. It has to be a part of everything we do. We have to leverage AI in terms of making productivity, the next North Star. So my one advice to all students is that as much as possible, it's in your curriculum or it's outside your curriculum, you must start dabbling with AI. Make your mistakes, figure things out, learn prompt engineering, learn the language of AI, which is prompt. Even figure out a lot more around the AI integrated tools. So if you have to make a good presentation and that presentation requires data analysis and data integration and visualization, there could be 3 different tools available today in the market which can uplift your outcome to a next level. So use some of those and really, really be friendly with AI, use AI in a lot of your everyday orientation. So that's one. And the second skill that is clearly needed by students as they enter corporate is domain expertise. And this domain expertise is, domain could be anything around sector, industry, function, technology, but getting into depth of what problem are we trying to solve is just extremely critical for you to be employable in today's day and age. And I'll give another example over here. Like a year back, if there was a sales analyst who was taking an entry-level job in any of the Indian conglomerates or any MNC company across India, you would be expected to create, one of the outcomes of your job would be to expect to create a sales report, which is essentially going to be like you extract a lot of data from the CRM, you clean the data, you analyze the data, you probably sprinkle a bit of insights on that, and you share it with your boss or your management and expect them to take a lot of decisions. Today, and even if it's not perfect, it's going to get perfect over a period of time. AI can do all of this and do it really, really well. So then what's the job left? The job that you now need to do is to really use that domain intelligence of the context in which you work, which could be your industry or why a product is not performing well, or why is it that competition has launched something so different. Get all of that intelligence into the AI system for it to kind of produce more insightful, actionable reports for you. So it is, these are very interesting times. There is great opportunity, but at the same point in time, I think speed is of essence here of how do we really make sure that our students that are graduating are truly employable in today's day and age, which is changing so fast. So just wanted to share those thoughts with.
No. Thank you, Neha. Further, when we did SparkX exercise with Speed Labs and IIT Allahabad together as a collaborative exercise, we had a lot of establishments of development labs and demonstration labs. So my question goes to Vivek Varshni, who is representing Speed Labs here, is what are the minimum viable infrastructure requirements in terms of hardware, software, connectivity, teacher support to run such meaningful AI programs in schools across different resource contexts?
Hello. As the other co-panelists have already highlighted the need of, the urgent sense of urgency that is required in the nation towards AI education. I think that the first question that comes to any school owner's mind is how much money to be invested to be ready for that kind of, education in their school. I think it is a matter of choice of how much you can do, but obviously the first step is to recognize the need, put up the basic infrastructure in the form of computer lab as well as robotics labs, because if we have to redesign the workflows of future, the students need to have a hands-on learning experience, hands-on discussions about these problem statements, which cannot be done in a pure books-driven classroom environment. The second thing is that if we look at example of USA, last year almost 70 plus organization committed enough funds for the school education on the behest of the government of USA. I think that is the model which has to be explored. Government of India at some point has to take that call that can we invite the funds from the industry from the in the form of CSR if the government funding is not sufficient, and really support even the private schools in some manner. There could also be models in which the IITs, NITs, IIITs and other good colleges can share their infrastructure as well as faculty days and allocate them towards the gap of school requirement. What I also want to sensitize here everyone is that any gradual shift will not solve the problem. At the problem that we are trying to solve, if we think it is a 10-year problem, probably we will fall behind. We will not be able to solve it, because by the time we will solve it, the problem will be magnified multifold. It is very important that as a nation we move with a sense of urgency and try to solve it in a 2 to 3 years time frame, and any incremental delta approach will not work here. It is quite evident that AI has already beaten human in reading, maths, scientific reasoning, so it cannot be matched by everyone to build out things which AI can build. The only way we can still remain employable as a students is that we learn how to use AI as a creator of technology rather than as a user of technology. And at some point, that learning and that mindset has to be taught in schools. My belief is that the best age to learn that is primary schools and middle school, because in India, unfortunately, after 9th the pressure of marks comes. So, willingly or unwillingly, students cannot devote a lot of time to extracurricular learnings. But if we can very productively use the primary school years and the middle school years in a way that teaches them how to solve problems using AI, I think that will be the fundamental shift in the way of learning. And I think it is a time for a total reset in school education system. There should be many more conferences around it. There should be many more talks around it. I think the way AI Impact Summit is organized at a national level, where industry, academia, government and international bodies are coming together and ideate. Similar way at a school level, with the sense of urgency, we must create brainstorming sessions, ideations, and try to drive a total reset in the school education sector.
Thank you, Vivek. My quick next question to Professor Mukul Sutavane. A quick half-minute comment. Can we have various programs where BTech, MTech or PhD students in higher education can serve as a AI education facilitators?
Yes,
can
sure.
such models be built in?
Yes, yes, why not, why not. That with the support from this corporates, or I can say industry partners like Vivek, okay, we could set up an example, right? Surya is here, and then we could have some small lab which was set up by them. Investment came from them. And believe me that all my BTech students were very excited about this small facility which was set up by SparkX in IIIT Allahabad. There were robotic small kits and then some kind of AI coding and programming, and they could really make the robotics to run in live. And experiments, they were really designed for school-going kids. So we have the brightest of all BTech students, then master students and PhD students. They can certainly work as volunteers. We can develop demonstration studios and labs in the domain of AI, and let's say AI applied to vision, AI applied to languages, AI applied to anything, robotics and so on, AI applied to healthcare for various domains. And as we said that we have best of the best cream of the society kind of teachers and students, and we can volunteer. We are committed to volunteer ourselves for this social outreach program. We can certainly say that. How do we in turn reward? That we can say that my colleagues like Professor Sonali or Dr. Surya Prakash, they devote time in volunteering for School Connect for AI education. Then it will add to their appraisal, certainly. And also probably tangibly benefit them in terms of some kind of plus to their CPDA, professional development allowance, that I can do. For the students who volunteer to take part in this kind of activity, we can give them a certificate, okay, appreciation, or probably we can have, say it's a social internship for them. We can allot some credits to them. They can earn credits out of this social internship, which is a School Connect program for AI education. We can do that. We also have, I can say that I can endorse or probably recommend very strongly such students who volunteer themselves for AI Education Connect to the corporates, to my probable recruiters, that these students are social inclination. They are best kind of students who have some passion to do something for the society. And what you need is not only the intellect, not only the brain, you also need the empathetic hearts. Okay, so see to it that you select the students with the priority, preferentially, and benefit them in turn. So we can certainly demonstrate this model to the world, and we are committed, as we rightly said. All my teachers, all my bright students, all of them are committed for AI School Connect program, because we have that passion and we have that expertise.
Thank you, sir. My next question to Professor Vyas. How can the regional institutes can act as a bidirectional knowledge flow between higher education research and school level pedagogy? So quick comment, please, as we are in short of time.
As you know, this is a very important role that is tier 2, tier 3 places we can do, that IIIT is especially located in these areas, can work in a hub and spoke model, and to help the adjoining engineering colleges, school institutions, in terms of curriculum design, in terms of faculty capacity building, and try to also incorporate the local knowledge, local systems into the AI, because as we know, it's not only just enabling them to learn AI, but also they can contribute to the AI systems. And the hub and spoke model can definitely be created, but it requires the multi-departmental coordination, multi-government facilitation to make this happen. And of course, this will be very, very useful for the AI in terms of all inclusivity.
Thank you, sir. In view of the time, a quick question to Ms. Neha. What specific gaps are encountered by industry during hiring, even from our premier institutions like Institute of National Importance like IITs, NITs, etc.? And a further extension to this, with an industry perspective, at what level the AI education should be introduced into the schools, and if industry would co-invest in K-12 education and higher education, apart from the CSR charity, what kind of efforts the industry would be like to take for workforce pipeline development?
Sure. So I'll try and answer. There are about 3 or 4 questions in that. So I think just to start with, we are in a stage where industry and academia and policy necessarily have to come together a lot more faster in a lot more collaborative way. I think there is no doubt about that. Time is of essence. If we are not able to make significant shifts in the next 12 to 18 months, I think I agree with some of my co-panel members, we are going to be seeing ourselves as lagging behind. And therefore, it is important that we move beyond a bit of this CSR philanthropic sort of a view around contribution to truly come together and make things work, for the students and for the future of this country. So I just want to first, reiterate on that aspect of it. Now, coming down to, what challenges do we see from, students coming in from premier schools or premier B schools across not just EY, but across all multiple, client organizations that I see. I think what's great about these students that we get is, their intellectual capacity to connect, different dots and just share quality of mind. I think that's fantastic, and that's something that is basically a quality of mind that can learn anything. And I think that's something which is great. I think what one would expect a little bit more is probably initiative. We are in a day and age where very quickly the hierarchies across organizations are collapsing, as I think all of us would have been experiencing. So, you could be a fresher from campus or 2 years of experience, or you could be somebody with 12 years of experience. Very soon you will start seeing that they can be very much equated in the AI world, right? So just initiative coming in with smart brains is something that, probably would be an added advantage to it. And sorry, I think there was another question that you had asked, but, I'm also seeing time's up over here.
Yeah.
So, okay, probably we'll pick that up offline then.
Yeah, sure. So, may I request to play the second video of Professor Sahasrabudhe. I'll just read out the question to him. What governance structure would you recommend to ensure convergence among multiple regulatory stakeholders and industry bodies? So,
as far as the question of convergence of various regulatory bodies like AICTE, UGC, NCTE, Ministry of Education is concerned, the very fact that a new bill is coming into the parliament called Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhishtan, where merger of all these regulatory bodies is going to take place, will solve one part of the problem. The second part is, naturally, when there are multiple agencies existing, there must be discussion, there must be debate, and by mutual consent, each one of the regulatory bodies must adopt a robust framework for the ethical use of AI. As far as National Educational and Technology Forum is concerned, it is not merely the use of technology such as AI, but in terms of pedagogy, how augmented reality, virtual reality, metaverse, digital twins, animation, simulation, on what we call as AVGC sector, the use of all these technologies can be embedded for twin things. One is for teacher training, for that effective way of teaching learning process in a classroom where attention span of students is reducing, is one part of the story. The other part is how students can be engaged in the classroom by creating interesting, exciting content and also enabling students to use their creativity. In fact, creativity is a human trait. However, AI tries to become creative, the creativity of the Homo sapiens will be still ultimate. And therefore, AI tools must be used for empowering students to become more creative. And thereby, we may have a lot of competition amongst students to create more interesting, inquisitive content for children below their age as well as above their age. Also for teachers, also for parents. And therefore, AI as a tool all variety of data sets which are fed to it based on the past and previous experiences make it an intelligent system, but how it can become more intelligent and what it can do in terms of creating a creative content is where human intelligence will come into play. I'm sure frameworks which are developed will be used by all the agencies in order to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all the panelists. Now the floor is open to the audience. We can have quick 2 or 3 questions from the audience. Can you pass on the mic?
Hello. Basically, I just want to add 2 points, whatever the discussion. So one point I want to add, as the directors had said, that definitely we will be the part of the social responsibility. And by the way, I want to just add that we already started the fulfill the responsibility of the social, because in the Olympiad, around 10,000 students already participated in that, and we conducted the workshop. And after that, they submitted the project in the Tech Fest. So this part already done by the IIIT Allahabad with the collaboration of the STEM. So this means this kind of social responsibility already fulfilled. Means we started, and in future also we will complete it. And I also want to add one more point with the review Kasanesh, that as Sir said that school actually first understand what is the need of that. But I want to tell you that after the need, they can start, like in the government school also, they can start with the single computer, because we already made some videos, the LMS with the STEM learn, so they can get the lecture from there, and they can start with a single computer at least, like in the government school. And the private, if they have the fund, they can get up to some extensibility, because we have all kind of like with the STEM learn, we have all kind of facilities. Okay, thank you.
Maybe the mic can be passed to the audience.
My question to Ms. Neha. You mentioned about domain expertise and how it's critical in developing or designing AI. For people who have domain expertise, what roles exist in AI if they want to contribute to AI?
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting question, and I'm assuming you're talking a lot more about not just entry level, but levels above in the organization right now, mid-management to senior management. And I think we spoke about employability, that itself, corporate India itself is going through a lot of change. So around domains, and if you have been, say, a functional expert in finance or in supply chain or in healthcare or even in services or banking, this is again a great opportunity for you. To share some facts with you, for every tech or STEM job, there are 10 non-tech and STEM jobs in the market right now from an AI standpoint. So that's the opportunity. Now, what are these jobs? These jobs are a lot about, can you have a better communication language with AI, like prompt itself? And prompt is an art and a skill, like any language, it's an art and a skill to it. So asking the right questions to AI itself is a, very important, which most people are not able to get it still, even after a lot of training. The other role that is being really in demand is, around the AI tool integration, which is again to say that you need to produce, you have a business problem to solve, and you know what you need as a leader in the organization. You, from a domain expertise standpoint, you need what data you require. But that data is not going to come from one AI tool. You need to look at 5 different AI tools, assimilate the data, think about it in a different way, and then produce it back. So just the knowledge of a host of AI tools that are available and which one is important for you to solve the problem itself is a skill in its own way. And those are, again, growing jobs in the industry right now. Another one is AI content optimizer. There's so much content and right content and bright content that AI is generating right now, which could be even synthetic content. But if you have to make a marketing campaign, can you really look at the right things that AI is producing and then be able to apply yourself? So human judgment is at the top and the most important needed right now. But using AI and then elevating the outcome is the skill that all professionals need at this point in time.
Thank you. We can have only one more question in the interest of the time. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. Shall I?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sir, my question is with Professor Vyas and Professor Sutamne. Like, we are working for AI reachability to the school level. So being an education expert and in a leading role, I just want to understand, do we think that we should improve our teachers training program like B.Ed or M.Ed or whatever TT courses which we are using for our primary teachers for their preparedness, because we are doing it in an outsourced fashion, but somehow we need to update our teachers' skills so that we can actually get the AI into the school level.
Thank you. It's a really pertinent question, that all the training, whatever they have received so far, it may not be so relevant as of now in the face of AI evolution. And we should definitely try to construct some AI refresher programs, AI orientation program. Especially the area of AI ethics will be very, very crucial, because you're dealing with a child of very tender age. So we have to definitely construct these programs and try to definitely correct between the schools and the institution like ours. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, in the interest of the time, as we come to the end of the session, first of all, I thank you all the panelists for the rich and elaborate discussion. I thank Professor Sahasrabudhe. In spite of the emergency, he could find time and he could send a valuable message based on the questions shared to him. I also thank all the audiences here for their patience listening and active engagement and and interest in the panel discussion. Just to summarize, I'll summarize the essence of this panel discussion in a minute. So on the policy framework, the AI education could be introduced as early as from class 3. The government is already government is working on convergence of different regulatory bodies, right from school education, higher education, innovation, research, through a new bill of Viksit Bharat Shiksha Abhiyan. As far as the curriculum and pedagogy are concerned, Professor Sahasrabudhe mentioned that we can start with AI as a vertical in education, but with gradually we can move to AI to be part of all the courses and subjects. He also mentioned about ethical use, equity and access of the AI to all, irrespective of the gender, urban-rural divide, as well as the socio-economic status. On the infrastructure front, the Atal Tinkering Labs can be enhanced, especially for building AI education laboratories in the schools. Professor Sutavne mentioned about how higher education institutes can become a hub of development and demonstration labs, create contents, give it to the schools. And Professor Vyas mentioned about hub and spoke model, how regional institutions can act as hub and spoke model for delivering education to the schools or facilitating education to AI education to the schools in the regional areas. With this, I thank all the panelists for their elaborate discussion. And as we started with the initial quote of targeting or handling 650 million young age population of India. So the basic essence of the discussion is that we are having less time. So time is the essence to catch the bus, and probably all the stakeholders, right from industry, regulatory bodies and higher education, can come together to meet the workforce requirements for 2030 as well as 2040. I once again thank you all, the panelists and the audience here. Thank you once again. I request audience to wait for a minute, and I request Professor Mukul Sutavne, Director IIIT Allahabad, to just hand over a memento to all the panel members. So first to Professor Vyas, being Director of IIIT Naya Raipur. Ms. Neha Sharma from ENY, representing industry to this panel discussion. To Shri Vivek Varshni, representing Speed Labs and industry and motivation for AI and robotics in school education. Thank you all. Now the floor is given to the organizer.
Yeah, thanks to all the panelists. Such a nicely curated session and very impactful discussion. On behalf of India, I request Prakash to just hand over the mementos from India AI side also. I would call Praveen also. Yeah, thank you so much. With this, we conclude the session.